There you go.
Boom. Awesome. Eric, what's up, man?
Chris, how are you, sir?
Good, brother. Thanks for joining today. Anybody watching this? I'm drinking my coffee out of a cuddle bug. Like, say what you want about me. I don't care.
I'm
It's
going to say it offline.
Hey, Eric, do you remember that time when I was like, what did I say? Something about bad words or something? And you were like, what's wrong with you? Oh,
Yeah, I didn't like,
hey,
what was that?
potty mouth.
Potty mouth. Yeah.
After all the things that you and I have shared intimately
Right.
on your podcast and
Yeah.
about my recovery and everything that we deal with in
Yeah.
this
Yeah.
industry, I don't know
Yeah.
what possessed me to say potty mouth on a post.
I don't either. I don't know who the fuck you thought you were talking to.
It was great. It was great. So, hey, listen, everybody, here's the deal. Let's just cut to it. There's no bullshit in this. We're going to have a really short presentation, but I reached out to Eric last week. I said, dude, I got an idea. I said, let's do this presentation on roof financing, keep it really focused, and let's see if we can go help some roofers. And he's like, okay, cool, man. He just says yes. And he says, well, what do you want it to be about? I said, well, you're really good at the whole insurance thing. And he's like, yeah. And I said, I'm pretty good at the retail financing thing because that's all I freaking do. Let's have a nice conversation around insurance and retail and financing. And like a real conversation where you don't have to pay $3,000 to go hear somebody talk about that might have done it, might not have done it. But like, look, I mean, you can agree, man. Like everyone's talking about this online, right?
Yeah, we have to figure out like because again, like right, like you're living in the retail world. A lot of us live in that insurance world, and that insurance world is changing very, very fast for a multitude of reasons. And there's a lot of gurus out there that are trying to capitalize on that. And I think that the theory behind it of what they're trying to do is correct, but I think that a lot of it is very unrealistic. And then that was what I wanted to get into today
Okay.
on the insurance side of it is figuring out what the realistic ways are to be able to utilize financing inside of your company to better your cash flow and to give some benefits to the homeowner at the same time.
That's awesome. So we're going to break down some of the myths and some of the things that you might have heard and maybe make this more realistic. Look, I'm flying out to Dallas because I have a private group. I have a private training program. It's actually called the program now. And I'm flying out there to meet a whole bunch of great contractors in DFW land. And they're really leaning in on adding some more retail financing solutions to the point of sale. So I think this is very timely, not just for myself, but for anybody else out there that's in the same situation. So listen, let's just dive into it. I built this training deck today. Eric hasn't seen it, so he's going to be surprised, just like you are right now.
Let's
I
go.
first, I first wanted to frame this up more on the line of what's happening in roofing, from the entire marketplace. I mean, I think Eric, you can agree. All the attention to private equity. Like I went to Best of
It's
Success.
crazy.
Best of Success was in Dallas this year. Every speaker on stage talked about private equity. So a lot of attention is on roofing. Growth in roofing is exponential. The economy, as much as it sucks, is really good. It's just like a weird thing. And a lot of people are literally financing the shit out of everything. Tiff and I were doing I've got at this investment meeting thing, and we had to break some numbers down on a P&L and just kind of do a real 30,000 foot view of where we are and what we need to ask from these investors, right? And we did the numbers today, Eric, dude. She was like, $196,000 a year is our bills. I was like, yeah. She's like, it was like eye-opening to go that two people, no kids, a couple puppies, no kids in college. We're dinks, dual income, no kids, right? Entrepreneurs. So we're basically broke. Everybody's financing everything. We finance our groceries. We
Yep.
finance our freaking gas. We pay it off at the end of the month on an Amex. I got an 850 FICO, by the way. I just found that out the other day.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So we're financing everything. So what that means is this: your consumers are leveraging credit cards and taking out loans to pay for everything. So that's what's happening in roofing too. You can maybe talk about some of this stuff, right? Insurance regulations and laws. Eric, what laws are now affecting your world with storm and restoration in the states that you do work for D&M?
Yeah. So the big thing that I'm seeing is not laws per se, but policy changes, right? So policy changes inside the carriers of how people are getting written, or if they're getting dropped and rewritten, or what's happening is that everything is getting converted to ACV policies, right? It seems like across the board. And if you have a 10-year-old or older roof, a lot of times they're coming out, and if they're saying that you have a 10 to 15, it depends on the carrier who's saying what number, but they will non-renew you if you don't get your roof replaced, right? So there's a huge opportunity on the non-renewal market for the retail space, right? We should be marketing to people that have roofs that are 10, 15 years or older to say, hey, your carrier might non-renew you if you don't get your roof replaced. Here's what it'll cost a month to do that, right? But on the flip side, with everybody, with all of these different policies going to, like, Allstate has an RPS policy, right? Which is I forget the acronym, but they're disguising it as a replacement cost value policy, but it's actually an ACV policy. So at the end of the day, it depreciates, and they're not getting the rest of the money to be able to pay for the roof. So that's going to have to be paid for by somebody, right? And it's not going to be me. It's your home, right? It's the homeowner's house. So they're going to have to come up with the difference of that if they do have a claim and their deductible, right? And that was where I really wanted to, like, once we start digging into this, to figure out best practices of when do we start offering financing, how do we offer financing, and what are the best ways to get it? Because the idea of financing an entire claim is great in theory.
All right.
It is not practical, right? You might get a one-off where they're like, that's a great idea, I'll go buy a car, right? Like, in theory, it's a great idea. And we tried to push it for a couple of years, and everybody laughed us out the door. But the new approach that we're using and going after getting people to finance the depreciation and finance the deductible, and then maybe give them a discount or something if they do that, because we're getting our money faster, right? Like, I'll let somebody pay on a credit card for the depreciation, and I eat that 3% fee because I want to get paid right away, and I don't want to wait 90 days for my money. So I think that's the thing that we really need to dig into here once we get to the insurance side.
See, that shows you how much I know. I called it a law, and you corrected me. It's a policy. So
a lot of people do, though. Everybody's like, that's against the law. And it's like, well, fuck, is it? Like, it's not against the law. It's, like it's a policy thing, right? But when people hear that, other roofers, though, to be fair, Chris, other roofers will go and talk to homeowners and be like, it's against the law. And it's like, come on, man, you're not a lawyer, right? Like, it's not against the law. They have a policy, which is a contract that they have with the carrier.
Yeah. Well, I think
right?
in Florida, they do have some laws on what they can and can't do, even down to advertising.
Yeah, and Florida's like a whole different thing, right?
Bro,
so, like, yeah.
My buddy lives up in Orlando. They just bought a home a couple years ago. He had the roof inspected when he bought it. Gorgeous roof, simple home, nothing over the top. Calls me the other night. He's like, dude, I've got to replace my roof. I'm like, what do you mean? And to your point, he goes, they came out, they looked at it, and they said, you have to replace this because it's 15 years old.
Yep.
And he goes, what is this bullshit? He goes, my roof is perfect. I go, and you had it inspected when you bought it. He goes, the roof is perfect, Chris. This guy's got to rip it off and put a new roof on, an absolutely perfect roof.
Yep.
Dude, we have one insurance carrier where I live. I'm on the intercoastal in Florida, and we have Citizens. And I know I'm coming to that point. I did some pretty interesting things. I did some pretty creative things with my roofer to make this last another 5 years. We put a Conklin low slope on it, and we did some Sherwin-Williams painting. And I did some pretty interesting shit to get this thing covered. But I'll have to do this pretty soon, probably the next 5 years. And man, I'm a barrel tile, big 4,000 square foot home, man. Like, it's going to cost me a fortune. So anyway, I will be financing. I will be financing. Cool. People are not moving go back to slide now. People are not moving. Low mortgage rates in first in the market slowing. So here's what's happening in our neighborhood. People aren't selling their homes, man. They were flying off the shelves. Like, Tiff and I were like, let's sell our house. 1.5 million. Let's move up to the Carolinas. We'll buy something for 5. We'll take, you know, 600,000-700,000 and we'll build Improvify. Like, we had this whole thing figured out. Thank God she didn't fall in love with the Carolinas. We got back here. This market stopped. It stopped and the values are coming down and people can't sell. So what is happening is the people aren't moving, but they are doing a shit ton of home improvements in their house, which is freaking awesome for all you out there watching this, because they still have that 2.5 to 3 to 4% first mortgage that they're living in the home and they're loving life. Yep. It's really good money. And then the new rates are not really that bad, but they're not really that good. So not many people are like, can afford the houses. So this is for home improvement, not just roofing. Cause I remember I finance fucking everything.
Yep.
This is like the perfect storm. People need money. They are staying home. They're making home improvements. They want to increase the value of their home and the market's slowing. So this is like the perfect storm for roofers, remodelers, design build, renovation, air conditioning, blah, blah. I could go on and on, man. It's a perfect freaking storm. Cool. So this leads us to Eric's point and my point. Why offer financing? Well, easy. Let's just say it. Affordable payment options help you close deals. So if Eric's team shows up and it's a $10,000 deductible and I can make the payment $82 or $90 per month or offer the customer 12 months, same as cash, I'm removing the friction from the point of sale and from the customer doing a couple things, putting themselves in $10,000 of credit card debt, pulling the money out of the market, doing a home equity line and pulling the money out of the house there, begging or borrowing or stealing it from someone else, or literally just saying, we ain't got it. We can't pay for the deductible, man. Hey, can you pay for the deductible for us, bro? You know what I mean? So folks are using affordable payment options. So that's another reason why. Promotional loans. It means this is good training for you as we're rolling out some new financing for you nationally right now, Eric. Promotion means promotional period of time. It's like when you walk into Best Buy, if they still have Best Buys, and it says buy now 36 months. Or when you go to Ashley Furniture and Ashley Furniture says, hey, buy your furniture and pay in 5 years. That's called promotional financing. These retail establishments are exciting you to come in and buy their stuff. So you can pay it out over a period of time and not have any payments. You can do the same thing in roofing and deductibles and depreciation. You can finance all this stuff and put it on a promotional loan. That's for folks that have like high credit scores and don't like interest rates. They like promotional loans. You can offer that, or you can do like a short term to a long term, 2 years to 20 years, no prepayment penalty. So that's how you can finance these and give them affordable payments. You can talk a little bit about this. Deductibles are high and the insurance game is changing. Look, I wrote laws again, damn it. Talk a little bit about deductibles. What does that mean? Deductibles are high. What does that even mean? And this,
so depending,
to take this down to the basic level of a roofer just started roofing and he doesn't know ACV, XYZ.
Yeah. Right. So depending on the market that you're in, but if you're in the South, Midwest, Southeast, like Colorado, anything like that, deductibles are going through the roof. Pun intended, I guess. But like, I mean, they're switching to a lot of percentage deductibles, right? Okay. So things are going to 1%, 2%, 3%. Even I've seen them as high as 5%.
Explain. My house, I bought it for $600,000. It's worth 1.2.
It's whatever you insure it for.
Okay.
Right. So if you insure it for $1 million, right, and you have a 1% deductible, then you've got a $10,000 deductible.
Got it.
On your house, right? So did I do that math right? Is that right? Yeah. Okay. So nobody wants to pay a $10,000 deductible, right? To your point, if you roll up to $1 million home, you're assuming they have good credit because they've got $1 million home, right? We will offer the promos on those all day, right? Because in my mind, like to them, yeah, it's a big chunk of change, right? But $10,000 with whatever the dealer fee is on the promo is worth it to get paid faster. And if we can say you can pay this off over the course of 12 months, 18 months, whatever it is, and you won't pay a dime of interest, but we're going to get funded right away, no brainer, right? And you can pay it off in 6 months, you can pay it off in 10, you can pay it off in 12, I don't care. Or to your point before, why don't you just stretch it out over 15 years? Stretch it out over 15 years, make a $90 payment a month, and then if you get a chunk of change down the road, pay it off because there's no prepayment penalty, right? That's That's the ideal situation. That's what I push more of because those are lower dealer fees.
Let's talk about that.
Those are lower dealer fees.
If it's a $10,000 deal and you take it on a credit card, do you take a 3% whack across the knees on the merchant processing?
Correct. Yes.
Why?
And I'll do it all day.
Yeah.
Because I want to get paid now.
Okay.
Right? I want to get paid now. So I'm willing to take a 3% hit to get paid now.
You're saying that the insurance company is not going to allow you to fund that and finance that for $10,500, $10,300 on a credit card?
Absolutely, you could.
Okay.
Absolutely, you could. You could absolutely do that. It's just a different conversation with the homeowner now.
Right.
Like, because now you're saying they didn't want to pay interest, and basically we're throwing interest. If they didn't want to pay their 3% on the card, because every time somebody wants to pay with the card, they go, well, I want to use my card, but I don't want to pay your processing fee.
Yeah.
Every time.
Yeah, but
right?
you know what, dude, look, let's break the fourth wall here. Nobody has an idea that they buy if people still drink milk. That milk has a dealer fee built into it. When they go to Macy's to buy their wife a purse at Christmas, that's got a dealer fee built. When they go to Ashley Furniture, 17% is built in because they have to offer the 5-year equal pay promo.
But the problem is that they already have a scope of work with a price. Right? They've already got a scope of work for the price. And then me trying to say, well, it's going to cost you $300 more to do this. Right? Because when they go buy the carton of milk has a price on it. And then that's it. That's the price because they already baked it in. So to your point, if you bake it in on a retail, they've already seen the price and they're not arguing that. But if they've already seen the price on a scope of work from the insurance company and says this roof is $10,000, and then I say, nah, it's $10,300.
Okay.
All right,
hold on.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, but let's break it down. You got scope of work on a project, and then all of a sudden ABC, Beacon, some supplier said, sorry, we have a price increase. Can you go back on that scope and change your numbers because of the price increase from your supplier? If your numbers
theoretically, yes.
Okay.
Now we're talking insurance still, correct?
Yeah. You went out scoped. You got to a number.
Well, so if you're on insurance and you have an exactament estimate, you get it written on when you went there, right? And you get current pricing inside of exactament, and that's the number that you're getting approved, right? So if I get it approved in May and I get a contract signed in May, then I better be ordering my materials in May. If I wait for 6 months, it's kind of my fault at that point, right? And I'm not going to go back on a homeowner. Now, if the homeowner waits for a year to do the job for whatever reason, then I say, hey, we need to go back to the carrier and say, we need updated pricing because you waited. And sometimes you can get them to approve it. Sometimes you can't.
Interesting. Okay. Just as I saw a lot of that happening over the years where all of a sudden you guys would get whacked with hey, we're increasing our prices next month from your distributor, and how you went back when you've already presented a price to a customer. Because in my world, cash equals credit. So if I presented a price, I've already built in a 5% margin, cover the cost of credit cards, checks, financing solutions, promos. Like I'm already building 5% in. Okay, cool.
Yep. You can do that. Super easy to do on retail, and everybody should be doing it.
Excellent. Good. Cool. So cost of goods increasing, suppliers and OEM costs. Well, that's another reason why to offer financing. Holy God. Every time I turn around, the cost of everything's going up. And, this goes back to why I offered financing, marketing and advertising, attracting new customers. Hello, buy your roof now, pay in 2026. 100% financing available. Low monthly payments on your roof. Like I see people, there's some really big national roofing companies that only offer financing now. It's freaking awesome. I was on the phone with them yesterday, big franchise that are getting enrolled with us to use us. And they're like, I said, so give me a percentage of what your guys are doing retail to Storm. And they're like, Storm? They were like, dude, Eric, they're like, what do you mean Storm? What's Storm? They're like,
gee, speaking of Storm, it is fucking boring. Holy shit. You didn't see this. You can't even see out my window. Like it just started.
That's coming in sideways. These guys were like laughing at me. Like, we don't do Storm. And they were like down where you are. So there's some retail guys out there just selling roofs. If you decide that you want to step into this arena, anyone watching this, and you want to offer financing, have a great conversation with me on how you market it and advertise it and build a finance page on your freaking website, because people are going to Google. And if you have an easy way for them to apply on your website and you're marketing to them, you're going to attract them. And if you don't have it on your website and they're looking for a loan monthly payment option, they will pass you up and go to the next one on Google later and choose them. And they've got the little finance button that says easy apply, soft credit pull, 100% financing. Click here. You don't have to be freaking fancy with your words. You just have to offer it.
Yep.
So, cool. Here's Eric, ladies and gentlemen. What a gorgeous freaking guy.
Man,
Be authentic, get the fuck out podcast. What else you get involved with? You've got talk to us about the cult culture.
Yeah, man, thank you. Yeah, so we've got the cult culture movement, which is kind of twofold. So we've got a group coaching that we do twice a month. We've got an amazing group of guys in there. We've got guys that are kind of starting out in the first 3-4 years of business, all the way up to guys like Joe Hoffman and Ty Backer. Chris Aldrich, the president of NAPIA, is inside of Cult Culture Movement. We do group calls twice a month, and then select guys can apply to then. I think it's hailing. Hold on.
And this is
I literally think it's. I swear to God, I think it's fucking hailing.
I hear it.
Hailing.
I hear it. You guys, we did not make this up. We didn't make this up.
It is literally hailing. It's not huge, but it's hailing. That's amazing. Oh my God. I just got like a little excited I got excited in my pants.
I saw that when you just stood up.
Yeah.
ladies and gentlemen, we planned this. We called the powers
of hail.
Yeah.
But to finish up, so with CCM, and then we've got the second part where people can apply to go on our group retreats. We just got back from Grand Cayman, and we had 12 guys come. Half of the guys were already experienced divers, and the other half weren't. And they did their pool work and book work beforehand. Diving is like my passion, and so like I want to share that with people. And so we're going to do that once or twice a year for guys that qualify to be able to go on that trip. Not everybody in the group can go, but as we grow, I'll build that group a little bit larger. But in the calls, we do a lot of coaching on mindset, personal growth and development stuff. And then there's guys inside of that group that then branch off that want specific roofing training where they don't I literally have guys come to me and want to do private calls to learn how to build out pay structures, right? Like that simplistic of stuff, all the way up to how do I deal with this client or this employee, because it's all based on the team method that I do my keynote on, which is building trust and empathy.
What's the acronym for that?
So it's a team method, and it's how we build trust, empathy, authenticity, and meaning inside of our organization and our people.
Yeah, because I think I've been at a couple conferences where you did go the yard, and people, that's really touching. And it's amazing because when I see you present at these trade shows, there's no fancy stuff. There's no PowerPoint presentation. It's you having a conversation and you get a really good interaction. So, dude, I freaking admire you. And this isn't about me blowing up your ego. I was wicked FOMO with all you guys down there in the Caymans because I counted how many guys are on the boat. And as you know, I'm trying to do a money raise for my business because I bootstrapped this off of a HELOC, right? Like balls deep. Gutsy. My wife quit being a nurse to work with me. Like, dude, we're a freaking story in the making of where we're going with this. And I counted the guys on the boat and I was like, fuck, 25, 25, 25, 25, 20. I was like, fuck, I should have gone because I could have raised 25,000 for each one of those guys. And I wouldn't have to go beg and get my teeth kicked in on these investor meetings anymore. It was awesome.
It was amazing, and an amazing group of guys. We've really created like this very intimate brotherhood where I'm not trying to grow it to 100, 200 people, right? Like I'm trying to keep it at like 25, 30 people so that when we're on these calls and we're getting together and we're talking, like everybody gets to help everybody. I lead it and I bring a topic and we read books together. Then we dive into the books and find out what's actionable information that we can do together and throw it off of each other. And it's just, I learn just as much as everybody else does, and I have a lot of fun doing it.
I feel the same way in a lot of conversations that I get. And I was doing a Roofar event in Colorado last week, and it was really great sharing from the stage what I do. But the great conversations were the ones around the round table. You know, like I went out to dinner with Marty Toma and Corey Combs, and just I wasn't in a real talkative mood, believe it or not. I just kind of sat there as a wallflower and listened to them. And man, I sat there for 2 hours and just learned so much from two guys that were so passionate. and patio decks in Colorado. And then you got Corey with his retail roofing and remodeling in Florida. And man, they were just going back and forth. And me, dude, I was just sitting there, like, for once in my fucking life, was being quiet, learning and listening. So it's really awesome when when you get in a group, right? You just can soak it all up and learn from each other. It's fantastic. So what did we miss when you talked about insurance? Let's talk. Are we missing anything about the truths and the confusion that we are facing with this whole financing thing? I want to make this really interesting, but at the same time, I want to get back to the real point here for roofers. They walk away from this training we're doing with a clear, decisive action.
So I think that, one of the biggest problems that we as roofers have is cash flow, right? It's the biggest single killer of every company. They start doing a ton of work and then they're not able to collect, whether it's DEP or deductible. And all of a sudden they come to December and they've got millions of dollars in AR that can't be collected, right? And the big problem is because we're waiting on these DEP checks. And we've already outlaid all the cash for material and labor. We got to pay our bills, right? We don't get to wait and say, hey, State Farm didn't fucking pay, right? Nobody gives a shit. I still got to pay my guys and I still got to pay my material bills, right? And of course, as the owner, I'm always the last one to get paid. So what we're rolling out really hard this year is you sign a job, homeowner gets an ACV check, right? They get their first check, which is the ACV amount minus the deductible, right? So $10,000 job, that's just always easy to work with, right? $10,000 job, let's say they get a $4,000 check and they were going to have $5,000 of depreciation, but $1,000 of that is a deductible, right? So they're going to get another check for $4,000 for $5,000, which is going to equal $9,000 of $1,000 that they're going to be on the hook for, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what we say is, give us that check for $4,000. Okay. Give us that check. We'll start the job. We'll get the job done. And then you finance the $6,000 difference, right? For the total amount of the job.
Okay.
Do it on a 12-month, same as cash. So there's no money out of your pocket.
Okay.
We'll file for the depreciation. We'll send the certificate of completion to the insurance company so that you get paid. You might get paid in 30 days. You might get paid in 45. I don't know, but I'm not a bank. So I don't feel super comfortable floating that money for 60 days or whatever it is. So we're going to get funded. And maybe this isn't for everybody. Maybe we say, hey, and I'll give you a 5% discount on the second half of the check if you sign up for this financing, right? Because I'm willing to take that hit just so I can get paid faster, right? Now, all of a sudden, I don't have any AR, right? I don't have any AR. And as soon as that last nail is nailed in that roof and we look and it's clean, we hit a button, we get funded, we're paid, and we're done. And now the homeowner's waiting on the cash, right? And then guess what? They get a check for $4,000 or $5,000, and they can take that $5,000 and throw it on the loan, or they can keep it, do whatever they want with it, and make the payment. And pay it in a year, pay it whenever they want to, right? So we're pushing really hard on that because the theory of the quote unquote retail model of where you finance the entire project on the front end, right? And you say, this is the price, regardless of what you agree to with the carrier, because people are saying, no, you deal with the insurance carrier, Miss Homeowner. That's your job. It's your policy, right? You deal with them. In theory, that's great. But in practice, it's not realistic. We still need to be helping our homeowners make sure that they're not getting taken advantage of and they're getting proper pricing and they're getting proper scope of work on their home, right? So we're still going to keep doing that because we believe in helping the homeowner in that way. What we don't believe in is floating the money because we're not a bank, right? So we're still going to help on all of those things. We're still going to help them do all those things, but you can't say this was the price, and because my policy says cost incurred is what you're going to pay me, and then think you're going to send an invoice to the insurance company and they're going to fucking just stroke you a check for whatever you fucking send them an invoice for. Good luck.
Yeah,
it's not going to happen.
I heard it's a nightmare. I heard that
it's not going to happen. And then you're going to have 20,000 in an attorney to go fight them for 8.
Yeah.
Why would you do that, right? So instead, we should be focusing on what is the homeowner's problem, because the homeowner doesn't care about our problem, right? Which is the cash flow, right? So if we come in and incentivize them and say, hey, we'll knock $500 off or whatever, right? If you finance the difference of this so that we can get funded quickly, dude, as far as a business owner goes, I'll do that all day long because then I have cash flow. I can reinvest into the business. I can spend more on marketing. I can hire more salespeople. I can do all of these things to be able to scale. So you bet I'll take a couple point hit so that I can get funded right now. And I'm not having to pay that number on the entire thing.
Right.
I'm paying the number on half of it, right? Way easier to stomach.
Interesting. How long does it take to scope? What's the time frame like? Because you said a lot of stuff there. When you say it, once you've scoped the project, what's the timeline on that? How long does it take to do that?
We can scope it quickly. We all as roofers, we can scope it quickly. The length of time is getting the insurance company to approve the number, right? That could take 10 days. It could take 45 days. Then the next wait is the roof's done. And sometimes we have to send the same certificate of completion to the insurance company 3 or 4 times because they conveniently fucking lost it.
AR. So what you're saying is once you've scoped is when you can start throwing the financing solution to this game and get the roof freaking built.
Yes, because we don't have to wait for the depth. As soon as they have that ACV check, go.
Okay. All right.
Now to your point, if you had to move even faster for whatever reason, that's when you say we could start tomorrow if you finance the entire thing.
Yeah.
Right.
That's the risk.
And that's the risk though, because we don't know what's going to get approved. We're not there yet.
So maybe that company down in Houston that's apparently, I heard, and nobody's still looking for information that said they do a 100% retail insurance job now, and this is all that they do. Maybe that's what they're doing. They're defining it, or maybe they're just not defining it to the customer. We'll find out what the reviews look like in a couple of years. I don't know.
I would be worried. My concern with that is just that at some point the homeowners are going to be hung to dry.
Yeah. Because
they may or may not get the rest of the money that they need.
So if the sales pro is defining that and clearly stating it to the consumer, look, here's the benefits, here's the inherent risks that could happen. Are you okay with this?
And I'll be honest, if I'm a homeowner, I'm not taking that risk.
Yeah. I'd be interested to hear how
now, that being said, if it's a hurricane or a tornado and your roof's fucking blown off, we've got an issue about speed. We need to move right now, right? If we've just got hail damage and you don't have leaks coming in your roof, then who gives a shit? Yeah. Take your time, get your scope approved, get your supplements approved. Do not build a roof before you have supplements approved. If you are pre-building roofs before supplements are approved, you're going to go out of business in 3 years.
Yeah, because they could claim fraud, right? Like what damage?
No, well, but not that part, right? They could approve the roof, right, and say we're going to pay $10,000, but it's really a $14,000 roof. And what other companies sometimes do is they say, well, fuck it, we'll build the roof and then we'll supplement after we do it and try and get the $14,000, and then they end up only getting $1,500, and they tried for 6 months to get it, and nothing happened. Yeah. Well, why would you do that? Right? Like you're going to go out of business. And I know there's going to be companies out there that motherfuck me later and they're like, we do it all the time. Dude, for small companies that can't float millions of dollars, right, annually, and you can't do that, you will go out of business. Don't do it.
We call that in financing getting in front of your ski tips, and it happens a lot with we happens a lot with window and door guys and design build kitchen remodelers, because they finance everything because everyone says yes because the payment's a freaking joke, and they get way over their ski tips and they're not getting progress pay from the lender, and they out finance their jobs. And it happens all the time because that's a long build, man. The design build and windows and doors, and kitchens and baths, and a lot of these guys, they can outsell themselves, get over the ski tips, and now they're like, oh my God, our production can't keep up with it. Cool. Anything else you want to add on this, my brother?
I mean, I think as far as the insurance thing and the financing goes, I think that the model should be, and I bet I could make a bunch of money by starting a fucking school and teaching this like everybody else did, but like literally finance your AR, I think that if there's a lesson to be learned here, it's finance your AR. Get your check that you need to start, get them on board with financing the AR, and figure out a way to incentivize them to finance the AR, finance the back end of it. And then you're only paying a fee on the back end of the financing and not the entire portion. So you're saving money, right? Because you're not paying a vendor fee or a dealer fee on the entire amount. You're only paying it on, which means if you're paying 5%, let's say, you're really only paying 2.5%.
Yep. Love it.
Right? Finance your AR. Try and figure out, but again, how do we incentivize them to do that, right? Get creative with that, right? Get creative. Hey, if you finance this, you know what we do? We're going to send somebody out here to mow your yard for a
I got an idea. Throw in a free, I got an idea. I think you might like this, maybe not. Throw in a free roof maintenance program, which is where you come out 2 times a year to get up on the roof.
There you go.
Check things out, check the gutters, trim a tree. And folks listening, if you have a roof maintenance program, it should be around $397 a year. You should go on top of the roof twice to do something, to shake their hands, to say hello, to deliver freaking lemonade. And then when you're in the community doing your roof maintenance program, that you're on the roof twice a year, you're door knocking the 20 homes around it, letting them know that the Smiths have a freaking roof maintenance program. 5 to the left, 5 to the right, 10 across the street. We call that 5 by 5 by 10 method. Now you've, instead of visited one home that you're on the roof twice a year, you've visited 40 homes, and they know that the neighbors have a roof maintenance program. But in addition to that, it puts them on the premier list. If there's a storm, they're on their first call. Hey, we're here. You guys are part of our membership. We'll be right out. That's why you pay us $397 a year. And they know who you are, and you're first of mind, and they ain't calling anybody else's freaking door knocking because you're there twice a year. So if you don't have a roof maintenance program for $397 on perpetuity, every year it renews, and they know what the value stack is because you're out there twice a year, then you're doing yourself a disservice.
We just built new trifolds for ours, and I swear to God, no joke, you and I did not talk about this.
No.
My introductory price is $397. It's on my trifold right
now. That's amazing,
bro. And then if you renew, it's $199 a year.
Yeah. You guys, air conditioning companies, your freaking oil places have you on a maintenance program that you give you a deduction to come out to do your oil. Do it in roofing. Do it in roofing. Okay, awesome. 100%. I got something good, some great news for you. To your point, I'm going to get to that in a sec. Our dealer fee thing is only 2%. So our finance program is now from 2 years to 20 years term. It's only a 2% dealer fee. We go down to a 600 FICO. So boom, it's not swallowing 5. It ain't swallowing 10. It ain't swallowing 15. If you're giving away credit cards for free anyway, you're still at 3%.
And remember, you're doing the back end, so it's 1.
Yeah.
Right, because you're only doing on the whole job, right? Like that's the thing that we got to wrap our heads around, you know, as contractors, that if you're not doing the whole project finance and you're doing half of it, you're cutting that dealer fee technically in half on your entire margin of the job, because that's where everybody wants their heads to go is what's my margin? What's my margin? What's my margin? Right? You're only cutting it by a point then.
Love it. So cool, man. This is great. I'm glad we did this because I think this is going to help a lot of roofers. There's a lot of noise out there, man. I think that this might have cleared up some of the noise. So retail roofing. Are you ready? This is real simple. When you hire me for a year and I work with your team and teach you how to sell financing and roofs, it comes down to 1 or 2 things. Early, always, and often. You're always offering a financing. You're marketing, you're advertising it. And your sales reps are showing up properly. And they're saying, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, Mr. and Mrs. Hell, anything nowadays, right? Are you going to be using your money today, or would you like to use ours? And they go, well, what does that mean? You can say, hey, we've got financing solutions available for you to make this affordable in 30 seconds. It's a soft credit pull. We can help you out right now to determine if you're qualified. Would you like to apply? And we keep it real simple, and we remove it. And I do big trainings on the big $25,000 contract price, how I can reduce that to a small payment. And then you have to remind the customers on how they buy things. So they don't buy $97,000 pickup trucks. They go in and they buy a truck, and the sales guy makes it an affordable payment. And they don't buy $500,000 homes. They buy it on a 15-year mortgage or a 30-year mortgage. Like, why should your $25,000 freaking dollar roof be any different? Give them a payment solution. Make it simple, make it easy, make it painless, frictionless, soft credit pull, instant approval in 30 seconds, and then just sit back and let the customer decide how they want to buy. I don't care if they take financing from me. I've given them an option to say yes. I've removed pain and friction from the big contract, and I'm just giving a monthly cost. So it's real simple. There's not a lot to say here other than offer them a financing option. They want to give you an insurance check, take the insurance check. If they want to put on a credit card, take the credit card. They want to give you cash, give them cash. But we teach people how to offer and sell financing at the point of sale, how to market, how to advertise it, how to get your guys and your girls that are sales pros showing up. So it's just vernacularly simple for them to say, repetitive over and over, and they're offering it early, always and often. And then we've got these other cool ways to have a laminate and set the laminate sideways and go up in the attic, go up in the roof, and you come back, it's actually turned like this. And now they've softly told them that they have a finance solution. Like, there's a lot of really cool things that we do in the program to teach you how to do this. It's so.
Can I give you one that we do?
Yeah, go ahead.
One of the things that I teach my guys is that people connect with stories, right? People connect with stories, and people want to hear stories, right? And so I told my guys this story, and I said, use this story when you're pitching financing, or you're pitching upgrades, or you're pitching siding on top of a roof, or whatever it is, right?
Yep.
And I tell this story of back in my old house in Texas. I had 1,000 square foot area that my dogs beat the shit out of, and the grass wouldn't grow. And like, I was like, I can't have grass there. I want to put artificial turf. And I was like, okay, I really would like a putting green and a chipping green to be able to use, to be able to do that with me and my daughter. That'd be awesome to have like a twofold thing on this, right? So I have a company come out, and I'm like, they showed me exactly what I wanted. I mean, exactly. The fucking fringe, the little extra cut, the green, they're going to slope it. Like, it was beautiful. And they're like, it's going to be $23,000. I'm like, fuck. I'm like, okay. I was like, I don't really know if I can swing 23,000 on that. I'm like, do you have payment options? And they're like, nope. And I was like, okay. I'm like, well, I'll call you and let you know. And I called somebody else, and I had somebody else come out, and they said, hey, we can just AstroTurf the whole thing for 10 grand.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, I guess that's what I'm going to do. So the moral of the story is, if that guy would have came back with a $250 payment, I would have had exactly what I wanted.
Yep.
But because he didn't, I had to spend $10,000 of my own cash to get something I didn't really want, but it was fine.
Yep.
Right. And then you just leave that story there, and they're like, oh, well, I fucking want that though. So maybe that is what I want to do. Right. And to me, like, stories, just if you can think of a story, use mine. Right. But if you can't, think of a story where that would come into play, and use that story, leave that anecdote there so it sits with them, because they're going to walk away and be like, well, I should really get what I want if I'm going to spend that much money.
Yeah. Yeah. And we've got other trainings on good, better, and best. And this is a really good one too. If you're selling 3 different types of roofing systems, that when you show them the differential between 10,000, 12,000, and 15, and we're talking a $30 increment, depending upon the term,
right?
Your customer's psychology, their buying psychology, is nobody really just wants the base model. They think that they do, but once they see that it's only $32 more for mid, and it's only $33 more for best, your customers will automatically upsell themselves to the best each and every time. And when
they don't want to be the cheap ass either.
No. And the guy's got an ego, and his wife's there, and the wife's like, we're not going to put, you know how it goes, man. Like, they just don't, nobody wants to buy the WT, which is the work truck. They go and buy the LT or the LTZ. And I mean, nobody really wants the work truck. They really don't. And then once the sales guy comes out and says, hey man, look, that one's got roll up windows. If they still make those, that'd be really funny. Right.
That'd be awesome if they did.
I've had work trucks before, man. Shifter on the floor.
You gotta unlock it.
Long
like this.
Nobody really wants that, but you're like, it's cool. Right. I'll put wrap on it and tint on it. Nobody really wants that. So once you've determined that it's only $79 more a month for you to go up to the LT, they just talk themselves up. So this is what we teach you. We teach you how to make this part of your business. Here's one of the biggest problems I've seen in the home improvement industry. The contractors always have a customer. They have one customer. And I equate this to seeing the one tree in the forest. We have one customer. We need financing. We got to help them. And I'm like, what are you talking about? What do you mean one customer? What about the other freaking 10,000 customers behind it? So a lot of this is just demystifying the whole like idea. We've got one customer. I'm like, no, you don't, man. when we teach you how to sell and offer financing and make this part of your business, dude, you're going to be so stoked because you got more than one. You have thousands of customers now that you can have so much more fun and help them with affordable payments at the point of sale to solve the pain. So I'm just going to bring this in real quick and do a highlight of a new program that we've launched for people that are watching this. Eric's talking a lot about like what the dealer fee is, right? Because money costs money. It's got to come from Wall Street, and it's got to go to the people that work at the bank, and then the bank's got to get it to Eric, and then Eric's got to get it to the customer. Then it's got to go back to Wall Street through these other channels, and that costs a lot of money. So that's why lenders charge dealer fees. It's really the consumer's fee that they're paying for the luxury of having a finance option that's paid over a period of time. So consumers pay for the cost of financing when the cost of goods typically. Okay, with that being said, I'm a contractor. I've never offered financing. F dealer fees. I'm not, you know what I mean? The whole argument, like, dude, okay, have fun in 1980 because all these other guys are going to offer financing. You're going to be dead. Like, good luck. Sorry, but good luck. I don't care. It's not my problem. If you can't build in freaking 5% into your pricing so you can go gain a market share and grow, it's your problem, not mine. But anyway, the cool thing about the credit-based program is you look at this matrix here, the dealer fees are fixed on from 600 FICO, that's a credit score, to 659. And then all the good stuff like the super prime 780 up, it's all fixed. So if you're just getting into financing, my suggestion is, hey, build 5% in and call it a day. What do you mean 5, Chris? The dealer fee says 2. Well, down here, the same as cash programs are 5 and 7. So what if your customer's like, I don't pay interest on anything. I got an 850 FICO. I want to do this on a 12-month same as cash and pay this thing off in 12 months. Make sure that your margins are covered. But here's the good news. It doesn't fluctuate, and it is what it is. So you build it, set it, and forget it. Your team doesn't have to worry about balancing merchant fees. And they just go out and sell, and they go out and help. And they present financing solution every freaking time for the deductible, for the appreciation, for the back end. Like, it doesn't matter. Just have them offer a finance solution. Set it and forget it is how I train contractors on this. Oh, but Chris, 18.99%, that's egregious. Well, guess what? It ain't your fault as a contractor that the consumer decided to ruin their credit. So
Right.
stop it. Stop it. Contractors are like, oh my God, 18.99%. Dude, that's for credit scores between 600 and 659. They're lucky they're going to get approved. Like,
And it's still less than a credit card.
it's super subprime, baby. Like, the defaults right now on credit cards are skyrocket. So the fact that somebody can get even bought between 6 and 659 is a blessing. And 18.99 is cheap. Those shitty companies out there like Hearth and Enhancify and Acorn, those guys, the brokers that say, oh, we don't have any dealer fees. Yeah, bro. But you do have 36% freaking interest rates for your customers. They should be in jail.
Right.
It's unbelievable. Anyway, super low interest rates, fixed, blah, blah, blah. Or if you want to just choose like the 899, the 99, the 109, you can pick one of those suites, build in that percentage, and go to war. Go have fun. So this is the matrix. We go from 2 years to 20 years, and I go from $2,000 all the way up to $150,000. So any design build guys or remodelers should be literally like $150,000 we go to unsecured at the point of sale, like with a soft credit pull. And we allow stage funding, progress pays for eligible partners. So design, build, remodeler guys that need 25, 25, 25, 25 or 50, 50, Eric, dude, they get that here with this lender. This is really a strong program. This is it. Eric, remember those things that we've seen before, the long matrices, and your team looks at it like pregnant pause?
Yeah.
This is all your team sees now.
Yep.
They don't have to get all concerned about all the different freaking programs. Keep it simple. Offer finance.
We're implementing this into all of our locations.
It's going to be so much easier, dude. I saw there's lenders out there that I've been in this industry for 26 freaking years. I was in mortgage for 18 and a half. There's lenders in my space. I can't read the rate sheets. I'm like,
yeah.
And I'm a professor when it comes to financing. I look at the programs and I scratch my head and go, how the hell does this all work? Here's some more good news. So that was unsecured. This is secured. I now have a national program that can do secured loans, closed-end second, fixed, soft credit pull, instant approval in 5 minutes from $15,000 all the way up to $400,000. But wait a minute, Chris. Why would somebody ever want a secured loan over an unsecured loan? Some consumers want to have the equity in their home for the loan. But Chris, wait a minute. I thought you always said that control is good at the point of sale and financing. It is. That's why I freaking threw this in the mix, because your sales reps now can present the solution at the point of sale from their doohickey and get them approved in 5 minutes. So you ain't sending them down to the credit union to never see them again,
Right.
because they got
Right.
the cash, they've got your bid, Eric, and then they call
Now they're
your
gonna shop.
competitor and say, hey, Eric's charging me 10. Can you do it for 8? This stops that and puts control in your hand. Why else did I offer secured solutions at this? Because if your customer can't get approved on unsecured, maybe we can use the equity in their home without touching their first on a closed-end second. Nobody's doing this shit but me. They're here. They're my partner. You got it now when you do business with me. And it's your back pocket deal to save a deal, or when the consumer says, I don't want unsecured, man. I want to use the equity in my home. Which is perfectly fine, Mr. Smith. That's fine. We don't even have to touch your first mortgage. That's at 2.5. This is a closed-end second fix. We go up to 30 years of the amortization as well. So this is a killer loan solution for large loan amounts, and when somebody doesn't get qualified for unsecured. So how do you get going and rock and roll with me? Well, you reach out to me. We get you enrolled. We set up your portal. We do some training, and then we give you the go-to-market strategies so you can take massive action. And again, I talked about that one tree in the forest. Stop calling me and saying, hey, Chris, I want to get financing because I have a customer. Don't say that to me. Say, hey, I want to offer financing because I want to help my employees win. I want to help my customers with freaking affordable payment solutions at the point of sale so I can help alleviate some of the pain that they're feeling in their economy. Like, stop looking at the tree. Look at the freaking forest, because there's a lot of people out there that you can help. So then I'm going to wrap this up and let you talk about anything here, Eric, that you feel like you want to talk to. How can people... Oh, I did spell your name right.
You spelled it right. Yeah. You can get in touch with me at that email, eric@ericobrem.com, or jump on to check out the podcast, Be Authentic or Get the Fuck Out. And if there's anybody that's looking to join an amazing group of men with accountability and just become better, and then maybe learn how to scuba dive, reach out about the cult culture movement, where we have about 8 spots open right now for people that are interested in joining. So we're going to probably close it off in 3 months, and then we'll have kind of a break where we don't allow new members in, and then we'll have another opening probably in the fall.
That's awesome. And if anybody's got any questions about it, like some of the intricacies that you discussed today on the insurance, can they reach out to you via email as well?
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Because like I said, I'm here to help. I take on about 6 to 8 private coaching clients a month as well. I cap it because like I've got a family and a business to run, but I really love helping people. And so I've got a capacity of this many hours that I can afford every month to be able to do private coaching. And so I will do private coaching with people that are either new in the business, like don't understand how to do this side on the insurance side, or don't understand an appraisal, or whatever it is, right? I love helping those people come up because I want this industry to grow positively, right? I want to help people learn how to do shit the right way. And here's why, because I fucking did it the wrong way for a handful of years. And I learned the hard way what not to do. And I don't want guys coming in now to have to make the same mistakes that I did.
Dude, that's exactly why I called you. I said, let's do a training on this, because I have an odd feeling that people are getting misinformation. And look, I'm not in insurance. People are like, Chris, you're in the financing business. Are you an insurance? No, I am not an insurance expert. Yeah. I did tie beams and I did roofs in 87 and 91, but I'm not an insurance expert. I've never chased down an insurance deal. I'm a finance expert, because to me, I'm absolutely agnostic to what the situation is. You can finance freaking anything. I don't give a shit. It's a form of getting something done, right? For me, it's just leveraging to get something done. So I'm really glad that you came in here to kind of like talk about some of these specific things. It's helping me help all my clients out. And and folks, for you to get in touch with me, look, it's real simple. You reach out to Chris at Improvify, or find me on the Facebook, which is particularly fine. I don't care how you reach out to me. Tiffany will set up a meeting for a one-on-one. It's real simple. We hop on, I learn about your business, I learn about your problems, I learn about your market, and then we get you enrolled with financing in one of the 3 different ways: direct to consumer, unsecured to secured, or maybe use all 3. And then hopefully, if you'd like to really learn how to take action and build this in your business, you'll freaking hire me. And like Eric, I can't take on more than 6 to 8 clients per month because I cap it as well. So if you're thinking about this, get on board before I shut it off. I usually shut off about the 15th of each month. I've got 2 more this month before we cap it off. So I'm here just to simply help. And don't be one of those guys that gets enrolled with financing and doesn't do anything. Like the money that it costs to freaking hire someone like me, you'll redeem that in your one deal, that one customer. You'll get your ROI with financing in the one customer. The rest of the 12 or 14 months that you're going to work with me is gravy train. So, Eric, thank you so much for taking the time to come on here and share, and hopefully we'll help a lot of roofers and spread the word, which what we do, man.
Yes, sir. I appreciate your time, man, and letting me come on and share some knowledge from a dumb old roofer.
I love it. All right, brother. We'll see you soon.